What's up YouTube, Dell here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing an update to Vanquished Soul. That's right, this deck got two brand new cards from Age of Overlord directly, but then it also has some other cards that can be added to the extra deck to help step up its power level. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more upcoming content. With all of that out of the way, we're going to dive headfirst into the profile, show you what we've got and explain why we've got it. So with all of my Vanquish Soul builds, I'll show you all of the monsters listed out in attribute. So we'll start off with the fires as it is your main one. So we start off with triple Vanquish Soul Raisin. This is your main normal summon of the deck and the one you want to be going to for the pure fact that it lets you add any other Vanquish Soul monster from the deck to the hand. And what makes this so good is on normal or special, you get to add a non-warrior Vanquish Soul monster from your deck to the hand. So that can, if you want to get two Vanquish Souls to the board, search you out the brand new card of the Vanquish Soul Yugioh. Now, Yugioh is a fire and worm, which makes it absolutely insane for the deck. And the best thing about it, between these two cards, you can actually set up quite a nice bit of a mini board. So what I mean by that is, normal summon Raisin, Raisin's effect search you out the Yugioh, and then Yugioh's effect. If you reveal a card or cards in your hand to activate a Vanquish Soul card or effect, except during a damage step, you get to special summon this card from the hand. It is a if effect, so it happens and resolves on a separate chain or the next chain afterwards. Why that is important? Well, technically you could go normal summon Raisin, Raisin search out Yugioh, then you could use Raisin's effect to reveal a fire, being Yugioh in the hand, to make sure that Vanquish Soul Raisin cannot be destroyed by card effects this turn. In doing so, on a new chain, Yugioh can then summon itself down. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're going to want to do, but it's just like a little mini interaction just so you can kind of understand the if effect and how it works and resolves. The secondary effect of Yugioh is that you can reveal a fire monster, change the battle position of one monster on the field, non-target, nice, or two fires, you add a Vanquish Soul card from your deck to the hand except itself. Now the reason that this is so important is for the pure fact that it lets you add any card. So it does the search job of Raisin and the search job of Mad Love, which means you can cut back on your Mad Love representation. Carrying on with our fires. Now for the fires, I've gone with two Ash Blossom, one Dogoran, one Kurikara, and of course the one Rice Art. Now the reason that these ratios are lower than most is for the pure fact that I'm giving myself the balance. Like if I go first and I open up loads of Kurikaras, they're not going to do anything for me. However, what I can do is I can activate cards like Small World, which can act as a bridge to get me to any of these single cards that I may need. If I feel Kurikara is going to help me break an entire board, I'm going to go for that. If I feel that getting to a Dogoran is going to be more important, then I will also go for that. Now you do still need to be wary of course, a draw unlock bird, but that is part and part of the game. And if that happens after you've activated Small World, you kind of want to think that step ahead of, okay, we're going into game two. Chances are they've probably sided in a draw unlock bird. What do I go for? You're probably going to want to end a go for a starter or an extender in the form of something like Heavy Borger to kind of push on from there. Moving on to the darks, so I'm still playing the triple Borger. You could probably cut this down to two. It's something that I am considering doing. It's just something I need to figure out a little bit more through playtesting. One card that has been cut down to two is, of course, Mad Love. So cutting Mad Love down to two is for the pure fact that this one will only get you spells and traps, whereas Yugioh can get you any card. So it can get you a spell, trap, or monster, which is really important. Then the other darks I am playing as the hand trap element is the one Druid Swarm, the one Magnemute, and the one Crow. Now obviously if your local environment is unaffected by Magnemutes and Druid Swarms or Bestials in general and they're not that effective, then you can very easily cut those and you'd go up to 3 DD Crows. You don't have to even play 3 DD Crows, you can actually change them around a little bit as well. It is entirely down to personal preference of how you want to play this dark kind of section of the deck. Now, keeping in mind with the dark attributes, we've got 8 representation. With the fires, we have 10. And then with the earths, we have 6. So for the Vanquish Soul monsters, we've got the one Caesar and the one Panther. I feel that at times you will need the Panther sometimes. It does come up. So playing a 1 and a 1 is absolutely fine. You can play 2 Caesar if you want to. But the pure fact that this can be searched by Magnemute, it can be searched by Yugioh, and it can also be searched by Raisin is absolutely insane. And then for the other earth monsters, of course, the most important earth monster for the deck is Fenrir, purely because it will then replenish your hand for either an earth attribute, should you need it, or a fire in the form of Rise Heart. Now, when you have Rise Heart, the best thing about it, or the best and the worst thing about it is, you never want to see it. You never want to open it up. You always want to search it off the back of a Fenrir. However, if you do see it, what it does give you is it does give you a fire attribute that is going to stay in your hand. And that's really important, more so now for the Jiaolong, because it does really need 2 fires to reveal to search you out. So you've got the best of both what you need to. And the final Earth that I like to play is the 1 Alpha, just because, again, this is an Earth attribute that adds itself back to the hand while also disrupting a board. And I quite liked playing around with the cards that give you the ability, like that's why the hand traps can get a little bit rocky, because there'll be times where you're holding back your hand traps so much, or you're using the effects of your Vanquish Souls so early, just because you know you then need to use that hand trap later on. Now, Belt is, of course, a good option, but that's where I've gone with DD Crow, and that's why I think the Bestials are kind of cool as well, is because they'll add some form of additional disruption. So in the Druid Swarm option, it's a 2-for-1, because obviously you've got that option for the Send effect as well. For the Magnum, it gives you a follow-up search, so that in the end phase, you can search a Dark attribute, or you can search a Earth attribute as well. Then Alpha has that ability of non-target, bounce it back to the hand and return one of your opponent's monsters. And if you want to go more aggressive, you can summon down the Alpha again and use it as link fodder, because obviously it can't attack the turn it's used its effect. Moving on to spells, I'm still on the Pot of Prosperity. I feel that the extra is flexible enough that, yes, it can get a little bit risky, but what I like about this in opposed to something like Pot of Desires is the Desires can still get very, very risky. Like with the extra deck, I choose what I'm banishing. If I don't want to be so risky, I banish 3. If I want to be as risky as I can, I banish 6. And even then, because of the flexibility in the extra deck, I have the ability to adapt it and change it as I see fit, so that I'm not banishing anything that is too wild that you don't want to be missing, basically. With Prosperity, it also gives you that option to dig at 6, so you get a 1 option of 6. Obviously, Desires does give you that ability to draw 2, so you're going to technically, well, either -9 or +1, entirely up to you. But the other is that your hand limit or your hand size will go up by 1 card, whereas Prosperity, it will stay the same. It really is up to your personal preference. If you want to play Desires, by all means, you can put them in here. For me, personally, I feel that Prosperity is the better option for me. Then, of course, we've got triple Small World. I still like Small World in this deck. I just feel that it's got so many different bridges. It's got so many different ways that I can turn a card that is less effective for me into an attribute I might need, an extender I might need, or a hand trap that I might need. And then, of course, triple Stake Your Soul. This is now even more, like, it's more insane for the pure fact that now we have an additional fire monster that we can summon out. Obviously, when you were revealing the fire, you're either summoning out the Proton or you were summoning out Raisin. Now you can actually summon out the Jiaolong and kind of move from there. And then the best thing about these is you're revealing the attribute and then you're not losing it. So you reveal fire, cool, Raisin search out Jiaolong. Jiaolong can then summon itself down at some point when you activate the right effect. Jiaolong can then search out another Raisin, and then straight away you've got your 2 fires. So you've got so much more you can kind of push through forward as well. We've then got the 1 Rotor, the 1 Dust Devil, and the 1 Continued. This is purely because it's searchable. Otherwise, I would definitely be playing like Book of Eclipse. I've then got the 1 Thrust and the 1 Talents. You don't have to play these, but what I quite liked about these is that going second, I still have the option of getting some insane board breakers. And the reason I went with 1 and 1 rather than 2 Talents or 2 Thrust is by having 1 and 1, I can activate both in the same turn. Yes, 9 times out of 10, the one that I'm going to want to go to off of the back of Thrust will be Talents, but what does happen if I've already opened up Talents or I don't need to use Talents is my Thrust can become a Rotor to give me my monster. It can become a Small World to give me any of my bridges that I need. It can become Prosperity. It can become Stake Your Soul. It just has so many different options to play around with. It can also become the new Soul Snow Devil, which I think is really kind of cool. Speaking of the trap cards, of course, we are main decking the triple Tikaboo. Some players don't main this. It's entirely up to you. I still like Tikaboo for the pure fact that it doesn't affect you anywhere near as much, and the fact that you can break boards with it, because if you activate Tikaboo and they can't stop it, it can actually thin down their board. Again, it will come down to the environment that you're playing this deck into. If the environment that you're playing it into is multi-types, then you're not going to be able to play, like Tikaboo's not going to be as effective. But it does become a very easy side-out option should you want it as well. And then the final card is the brand new Vanquish Soul Snow Devil. I love the artwork on this one. I really do wish it did get foil printing, but maybe a future OTS upgrade. So, reveal up to 1 each of a Dark, Earth, and Fire monster in your hand, and then you apply the following effects in sequence based on the numbers revealed. 1 or more inflict 400 damage to your opponent, then you can special summon a Vanquish Soul monster from the hand. Nice. 2 or more, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Also this turn, Vanquish all monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effect. And then 3, inflict 800 damage to your opponent, then you can destroy all monsters on the field. Now the best thing about this is this will then resolve in the ability of being able to go 1, 2, and 3. So the destroying all monsters on the field, your Vanquish souls are protected. So nice. On top of that, when you consider Borga is already going to burn your opponent for 1200, this then just goes, you know what, let's round off the total damage that we can deal to our opponent to 3000 in burn damage. And that's where Snow Devil comes in, plus your Borga. That's a 3000 damage swing. So like if you did Borga during your turn for 15, and then activate this during your opponent's turn the next turn, straight away you're burning them down by, they're going to be left with like 3500 life points, which is absolutely mental. Not that the burn is the main factor of this deck, but the fact that it just kind of protects everything, nukes everything, is insanely powerful. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on, it is a 42 card deck. I haven't decided what 2 to cut, but that's where Frost and Talents could be cut if you don't have access to them or don't want to play them. Moving on to the extra deck, we've got Triple Rock of the Vanquisher. It's one of the safety nets to play through this. You can play 2 if you only have access to 2, and I can't wait until this gets the ulti and OTS 24. Nice. But for now, 3 is just a safety net. There will be those odd times where you will need to go through a third. More times than not, you'll go through 2, but you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Then, of course, we've got the 1 SP Little Nat, the 1 IP Masquerena, and I do like to play the 1 Donna. Maybe I don't need to play Donna anymore because of SP Little Knight, but I still quite like the ability of using Donna as an Earth attribute as well if you wanted to go into something like Access Code and climb up. So this is one of those flex spots that you can change around if you want to. I feel that it's basically been power crept to SP Little Knight. But of course, if you don't have access to SP, then Donna is your next best option, just to kind of out different cards, out Baguskas and everything else like that. Security Dragon, Nightmare Phoenix, and then Underworld of the Goddess. Then for the XYZs, 1 Baguska, 1 Abyss Dweller, followed by 1 Borbo, 1 Chaka9, 1 Zeus, and then 1 Anti-Zeus. Now, I call it Anti-Zeus, thanks Kyron, but it's actually just Sky Crisis. You've got Sky Thunder, Sky Crisis, you've got Typhoon, you've got Zeus. But this card's absolutely insane. Because you don't use Rock as link material, you can just slap this on top of Rock. Even after you've used this effect, like if you're trying to push for that additional aggression damage, or if you're just trying to push for that ability to bounce a card, anything else like this card's insane. Absolutely insane. Like all of your monsters remain 3000 or less attack, so apart from Caesar, so everything else is less than 3000 attack, so it's not affected by its blanket kind of skill drain. It's just such a crazy powerful card. The fact that all it needs is your opponent to special summon twice the previous turn, and you just go slap this on board. And then even then, it's just, it's such a crazy card. Like the fact it was an ultra as well shocked the heck out of me. Like if this was a secret, damn, it would have been stupid expensive for very understandable reasons. And that's it for the extra deck. The extra deck has some flexibility. It's entirely up to you. 2 rocks, 3 rocks, easy access to Zeus, easy access to Anti-Zeus, SP Little Knight, you name it. You've got the ability to flex around, change it up as you need to. But this deck is built in the most aggressive way possible, or the most consistent way possible as well, following my personal playstyle. So that is it for the profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm so happy that this deck got more support, and I'm so happy that Jiaolong was an ultra so that it matches the rest. Yes, of course, you can make Jiaolong a quarter century secret rare if you wanted to upgrade to go with your collector rares, but I'm actually quite happy that they all match as ultras. Until Rock becomes an ulti, and then like, yikes. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Any questions, like I said, comments below, more than happy to answer them. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.